Hey guys, Paul Pluta on the ArchieLuxury channel, ArchieLuxury Corporate and Paul Pluta. Today guys, very simple question. How much money do you need to earn to buy a Patek Philippe Complication? How much money indeed? Let's run the credits and let's discuss. Okay, how much do we need to earn to buy a Patek Philippe? Well, the answer is, my friend, you don't need to earn anything. You can be unemployed. As long as you have the readies, you can buy whatever watch you shall wish to own. Now, this is a bit of a guide, and I want to talk about this as somebody who's owned several complicated Patek Philippe's. I've had the, what have I had? I've had the annual calendar, that's the 5035, and I've owned a couple of World Times 5110s. I've had two, a white gold one, and I've currently got a yellow gold one. So guys, how much money do you need to earn? How much money do you need to earn to buy a complicated Patek Philippe? Very good question. Very good question. And look, I'm using some standard ideas here. When you quick chats whilst I'm making this video, I'm wearing a Breitling Super Ocean. So, I want to give this as a bit of a guide. How much do you need to earn to buy a Patek Philippe Complication? And I gotta be honest with you, this is, I mean, as long as you got the money in this thing we call a democracy, freedom, we can do whatever we want. We can eat beans and rice every day, save up enough money to finally buy a Patek Philippe. But realistically, this is a guide for people who want a bit of guidance and who would be listening to my opinion. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video as a guide to people who really want to know this answer. And I got to be honest with you, with housing, they say your housing should not exceed 30% of your gross. That's right, 30% of your monthly income should not go towards housing, whether that's paying rent or paying a mortgage. It doesn't really matter. They're sort of looking at these expenses on how much is it feasible to do this. Now, I honestly think we could use a similar formula. Now, if that doesn't mean if you spending 35%, it's not the end of the world. The world's not going to come crunching down around you. It's all going to be over. Red Rover. No. It just means we've got to be prepared. These are some statistics. Now, I would say, honestly, I would say that you've got to be realistic, and I want to be completely honest with you. I think as a guide for comfortable living with it. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Say you got a Ferrari. And you may have, say, won the jackpot. You may have won it in Vegas, anything. The question is, can you afford to keep it? Because the insurance is a lot more higher than, say, a Ford Cortina or a Chevy Malibu. It's a bit more expensive. The running costs can be a little bit more expensive, quite a lot more expensive. Tires, mechanical breakdowns, consumables would be considerably more. Now, when you have a Patek Complication, you're going to have to factor in every 5 to 10 years, you'd probably have to service this piece. You would have to service it. You would also need to, every couple of years, you would possibly, if you were wearing this piece, God forbid you actually wore the Patek Philippe, you would probably have to replace the leather straps. If you're in a tropical climate, probably a little bit more, but probably every couple of years because it starts to look shabby. So the leather straps themselves there, they're about, how much are they there? They're about 500 US a piece. So the cost of ownership is quite high. Then if we're not wearing it, we can't really leave it at home. No, nasty burglars. So it'd probably best to have a safety deposit box. So generally speaking, I got to be completely honest with you. If you asked me how much is comfortable for you to spend on a watch, what sort of guide would I use? I say use 4. Okay, 4. And what that means is, if, for example, the wristwatch itself is like, say, a Rolex, a Submariner, well, it may cost, in Australia, a Submariner would probably cost you, a no-date sub would probably cost you just under the 10,000. So you would have to earn at least 40,000 a year to be able to buy that watch. Now, I'm not saying that $10,000 is easy for someone on 40,000 to save, but that's kind of the statistics you should use there. So in the case of a Patek Philippe, a complication, let's take the world time in my country. Now this is an international thing too. You can use whatever currency you like, it doesn't matter. So we'll just use Australian dollars. So at the moment, a world time of 5230, that's the Patek world time. They're actually 63,000 Australian dollars, about 50,000 US. Multiply that by 4, which is 250,000 a year that you should earn if you want to comfortably to be able to afford the piece itself there. So the same thing can be said there. So we look at 50,000. So if you wanted to buy a complicated Patek like an annual calendar, a world time, you really need to be earning US dollars $200,000. $200,000. That's what you need to really be earning to buy a Patek Philippe complication. Now, you might say, well, okay, what about if I buy used? What about if I buy used? Does that affect the thing? And the honest truth is, look, you can dice these figures any way you like, but I recommend you use the retail replacement price. So even if you were to look at, say, an annual calendar, and instead of looking at a 5146, which is a current model annual calendar, you look at a 5035, I would still say let's use current retail replacement price, because we may have bought a cheaper annual calendar, but the service costs are in line with the retail price. It's like you could buy a Mercedes-Benz S-Class quite affordably. However, the servicing, the brakes, the tires are like a $100,000, $200,000 car. So I always think it's safer to use retail. So what that means is a basic Patek Philippe, let's have a look at that, a basic Patek, like a 5196, 5296, which is an automatic version. In Australia, they're about 30,000, times that by 420,000 smackaroonies. That's the sort of money you should be earning before you buy one of these pieces. That way there you can safely afford the upkeep, the need to replace the straps, any servicing that's needed. That's I think is the comfort zone. So multiply by 4. If we have a look at, say, one of my favorite watches, which is the 5170, the Patek Philippe manual wind chronograph. They're about 100,000 smackaroonies in Australia, 105 actually. Multiply that by 4, which is about 420,000. And now, does that mean if you earn 400, you can't do it? No. This is just a general guide. I think by 4. So, for example, if you were looking at any Patek itself there, you'd have to be earning over 100,000 Aussie dollars. About 100 US is what you should earn to buy even the cheapest Patek Philippe you can find. Complications, I think you really need to be earning 200,000 US dollars a year. Now you can apply the same thing to any currency, any country you want. Multiply it by 4. That should be, you've got to have an annual salary more than that. That's what the guide is. This is the guide. So, in my case, I'm a man who earns about 25,000 Aussie dollars a year. So that means that, in all honesty, how do I put it? I've overcommitted. I've really overcommitted. Not just a little bit, little weeny whiny bit. No, I mean a lot. I've overcommitted. Hence the reason my life is a mess. Hence the reason I don't have curtains in my bedroom. I've got sheets. They've been there for the last couple of years. That's the reason. So my advice to you is multiply it by 4. That'll give you a fair figure that what you should be earning before you buy this timepiece. Multiply it by 4. If your salary is less than that, maybe give it the wide berth. In the case of this beautiful Breitling Super Ocean, well, the retail price in Australia is 6,400. 6,400 multiplied by 4. 6,400 multiplied by 4 is 25,000. So I could possibly, that would be okay. So guys, that's how the formula works. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you think. I'm Paul Pluta. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and don't forget, click that bell. Click the bell twice. You want the little thingies around the bell, because then you'll get updates. Tell me what you guys think of that.